Hey, welcome in, guys. Today is Thursday, April 15th, tax day. Make sure you get your taxes done, at least on the federal side. That is today, as far as I know. Hope you guys are doing well. I am working up this Joey Logano 2012 Max Payne 3 car, and moving along. I got a few pieces in place already. I like to do the number first on the roof. It looks kind of cool just to get that done. Got this piece on the back, trunk lid done. It's a little big. Actually, it's a lot big. I trimmed it down a little bit. Trying to keep his eyes in play, trying to keep the word Max Payne there, 3. So that's what she looks like there. Of course, I got the decal on the hood done, and then there's this little piece that goes across the bottom lower front valance, and that's always a little pain to put on, but that's necessary to go on first before you put on this large piece across the front. And this is a big wrap car that goes pretty much all the way around the bottom of the vehicle. And so yeah, getting ready to put this in, and as I was stretching this across, realized how it's long, it's big, which is good. You definitely would rather have it longer than shorter. So I kind of trimmed the edges here so that I can fold them back within inside the wheel well. So we're getting this piece in the water. Same thing here with this back part. It's a little big, but I kind of cut the sides a little bit so it'll fold around. I left a little bit of the black spoiler there. I can always paint over top of that when I'm done with the spoiler there. And you can see where I pre-painted a couple areas. I actually pre-painted black there on this lower valance here, side skirts, the spoiler. Yeah. So that's all done there. Now I wanted to get one of these sides on, and we'll do the driver's side. It's always interesting doing some of these nationwide cars because you can see the fuel door is a little high, but I think this lines up fairly well with that. I usually put this piece here in place on the front edge of the rear wheel well. Kind of line that up first. And this seems to line up pretty well there. And lo and behold, the fuel door is pretty close to where it is on the body of the car. So that's good. That's good. This looks like it's a little big here, and then it's way big on the front. You can see how that really comes up well beyond the front there. So with that being the case, I already cut in here a little bit. I'm going to cut a little bit more just to make this a little bit deeper. So it definitely does curl back in. And I'm just going to cut a little bit here. I like to cut along the lines of the colors, if you can. That's what I do. Just a little bit there, in case that needs to tuck. Just easier to tuck it when it's trimmed like that. And then I already kind of cut a little bit here. I want to make sure that these letters kind of fold in. It's going to be a little tight here, the top of this guy's head up against that window. So we'll see. I'll just trim a little bit more off. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We'll get this big fat piece in the water here. And then it's just kind of weird the way that the decal set comes, but it's got these little pieces here that are supposed to go along the sides of this part here. I don't know. It's just a little weird. So I'm going to trim it just a little bit. So it lines up okay. Yeah, that's better. So that's that side, and then on the other side this piece is a little bit smaller. I don't know. It's just weird. It's no real... I mean, obviously it's a nice straight cut here, but that kind of gets eliminated with that. So, and then we'll put a couple of these other little small decals in on this driver's side. Okay. So a couple other cars that I've got working. Back this up just a little bit. Turn it here. Show you guys. So this Lane and Castle Lionel car is done. I think I got one more coat of sealer on it. So that'll be ready to go. That turned out real well. I'm real happy with the way this car came together. You know, it's not a perfect match, but it's a sharp looking car. It's pretty cool. I do not remember that scheme, but some people do, and so that's cool. So Joey, I got a couple of these cars decaled yesterday for you. Here's the Insurance King, Josh Balicki, and that's fairly straightforward. The weird part is this wheel well, and I got to clean up a little bit because the decal doesn't really trim for the rear wheel well here. So I kind of just trimmed it a little bit. And then I gotta finish tucking that part there. Same thing on this side. I just gotta get that tucked up in there nicely. But yeah, I don't have any coats of sealer on it, so that'll be the next step there for that number 7 Cup car. And then here's the Jeffrey Earnhardt. This is the 2021 Forever Lawn car. You know, this one's a little interesting. It's got the green, of course, Forever Lawn, the green grass, as it says, premium synthetic grass. But this is pretty good. I didn't take it all the way to the bottom, primarily because when you do that, the zero gets really low. And it looks kind of dumb, so I kind of left it just off the bottom, just a little bit, to kind of go with the front, which is off the bottom here. You can see the black here, but same thing on this side. And again, if you go too low, the zero's too low. If you go too high, this white line doesn't really line up with the rest of the design across the back here. So, but yeah, all in all, it's pretty cool. This is a little weird on the trunk here, with the grass coming off of the spoiler there. It's a little weird. And then I guess it's got some secondary, tertiary sponsors there. So, but yeah, this one's pretty much done. I'll start putting some coats of sealer on that today as well. So, making progress. One other car that I'm going to do today is I'm painting this car for Mr. Ricky, and that's the car that I'm painting. Initially, I thought I was going to paint it red and then do the yellow, but looking at it again, it's pretty clear I need to do the yellow. I painted the car yellow. Now I'm going to paint the red on top of that. So that's part of what I've got going on, trying to match up this, and if you can see, let me get back here a little bit closer. A little bit closer there. You can see, this kind of goes along the hood. There's cleared lines on the hood, so I can paint that across there, and just kind of comes along and comes down into the wheel well here. You can see this front lower splitter here is all yellow, but everything above here is red. So I need to paint back behind here red, which is a pain. And then this kind of comes along here, pretty much straight back, and then it kind of curls up above the wheel well, and then right along this edge here, along the back trunk lid. So that's not too difficult. The difficult part will be this front lower part there. So that's kind of what I'm going after with this car over here. And I'm just going to use my red paint pen to do that on this one here. So we'll get the paint flowing. And the red paint pen, it flows pretty quickly. Let's see if I can do this on camera without screwing it up. You can see how this kind of comes right along the hood lines there. I like to do the borders first, and then I can kind of work my way down from there. The nice thing about this particular job is the hood indentations on the car help get those lines pretty straight. A lot of this area is going to be covered by decals, so it's not. The key for me is just not touching that lower splitter. I got to be super careful about that. Do not want to do that. Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to transition to using this this little applicator here. I'm going to get some. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, so I got a lot of paint there. Sometimes these paint pens will flow heavy, and you just got to be careful. That's why I don't like to depress that tip when you're working on the car. You know, you don't want to do that on the actual car itself. I've done that before, and it runs all over the car, and then you got just a big mess on your hands. I'm sorry, it's hard for you guys to see what I'm doing here. Okay. All right, so now this is where it's going to get a little tricky. So I try to stay off of that bottom part. It's funny how when you're concentrating you can't talk at the same time. It's funny. Okay. It's not looking too bad. A little bit of cleanup on this side. Trying to get it, you know, straight across the bottom. You know, it's not a perfect straight line, but I'm trying to get it as best as I can. So, you can see that. And now I want to do up in this wheel well a little bit, just to make sure that that's not too noticeable once you get the car all back together again. Kind of spinning this car around here. Okay. All right. That's probably good enough there on the front. But that's how I do it, guys. That's kind of the way that when I do a two-tone car, a lot of times that's how I'll do it. This is a pretty complicated one to paint. So, but that's, and then I'll just do the sides and the back here a little bit later. And that's all that Ricky's asking me to do. He's a custom die-cast maker, and he wants he's got a couple complicated cars to make, like this Little Debbie one, and he basically just wants the body, and then he'll decal it and do his thing with it once he gets it. So yeah. And I'm noticing I can kind of reuse these applicators. You can see I've got a few of them here, you know, an orange, and there was a green, and that was a yellow, and this was whatever, and a black, and that's red. So I'm kind of reusing them. The tips are still good as long as I get the paint out of it. You know, that seems to be, you know, at least something that you know. I don't like to throw stuff away. I like to conserve, even though I've got a bunch of them. As long as I'm not mixing colors, I should be fine. So, all right, let's see if I can get some of these decals on here. And I'm going to turn this up a little bit and back it up a little bit. Let's see how this works. So I definitely want this down low. I don't want any blue showing above this lower part here, of course. So that needs to be low enough so I don't have any issues there. And of course I need to get it centered. On these front pieces, I like to kind of grab it, you know, hold the car like this, and then I'll kind of take my fingers and my thumb and my forefinger and kind of pull it around, trying to get it where it stretches tight. So as I'm looking at this, you can see how that's going to fold there. There, and I'm keeping the sponsors in the visible part, not tucked in the wheel well. So, and that looks fairly centered. Inevitably, you'll need some of the micro sole on this front. Trying to get that to tuck in there. Yeah, these are going to be a pain. This is just a pain working this front here. Trying to get it to lay smooth, lay flat. It's going to take some time. And like I've said, the front nose and the hood, you know, those are the parts of the car you want to make sure you get as best as you can. So taking the extra time to smooth out the creases and stuff is important. Let's see if I can get this big piece on the side going. Actually, I want to put this on first. Wraps just a little bit around the sides. So, got a few different things I'm working today. This morning, early this morning it is. Mr. Doug, I'll be working on your 3 cars here after I get this Max Payne done. Your 2 Kenseth Fastenals and then the Clover. So, always fun working Kenseth cars. No doubt about it. So that'll be good. But yeah, I'm liking this car. I've never done one of these Gamestop for Loganos. They've always been Kenseth ones. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great and blessed day.